Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our third wonderful installment of Infusionsoft Landing Pages on Fire. Of course, I'm Rorik here from Infusionsoft's partner training group with the wonderful Dhruv Patel. He's our guru of the landing pages, the wonderful mugshot we see there with the flames behind it, bringing us all of his knowledge, his expertise on landing pages. So as usual, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of make my profile kind of small here. I'm going to pass the mic over to Dhruv, let him kind of take over, and I'm here kind of for the back-end support as far as any questions on Campaign Builder that might extend a little bit beyond the landing pages, but I'm going to leave you in Dhruv's very, very capable hands for the conversation on the actual landing pages. So Dhruv, you are live, sir. Go ahead and get yourself off mute there and take it away, sir.
All right, thank you very much, and welcome Barney, welcome Tanya. Tanya and I, we've been exchanging a lot of messages on Facebook recently, and I think some of you, Barney, can you hear me better now? Thank you everyone for joining again, and all I was saying was welcome. We have been speaking on Facebook a lot more, so I think it's something that we need to work on our separate time. I'm still needing to get the video. Oh, Tanya is just saying that she needs to get a video walkthrough to us. And this okay, and so Rorik, thank you for passing that URL again for all the pre-recorded sessions. What I will do is I'm waiting on one more gentleman from last week's webinar to join. His name is Mike, and what we are going to do is this scenario, walk through his business, and we're going to make a little, few changes on how we ran the previous two webinars and make some, do a live session of some sort with Mike if he shows up in the next minute or so. If not, I'll go ahead and continue with our webinar as is, with sharing my screen and start presenting what I have to offer for this week. Waiting on Mike to see if Mike can join us. Give us just a second, and I'll probably shoot an email to him really quick. In time, I think I just got an email from Tanya. Sent an email to Mike, but without making you guys wait for him to join, I'll go ahead and share my screen, and let's see. Okay, hands up or message if you see my screen that I'm sharing.
Coming through clear.
Awesome, perfect. And so I'll just switch to the presentation mode over here. Just saying he does not see where to log in to the webinar. Should I just pass the same link to him for the main webinar? Should he be getting an email? I think Anya also mentioned something about her not getting the link to the webinar. Rorik, is there anything in particular, a specific link that they need to be looking at?
Do you go ahead and just fire me off a Slack message so it's not in chat, or just chat me directly with his email address? I'll send him a direct invitation through WebEx.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, I sent you the link email address for Mike.
Awesome. I'm gonna give him a minute right now.
Okay.
Okay. So he should be with us in a few minutes.
Okay. All right. So starting with our webinar, landing pages on fire. Today, what we do is understanding your ideal customer. So creating a targeted ad page for each persona instead of a general landing page for everyone is going to be the topic. And this topic was brought on to us by Mike, who should be joining here shortly. What Mike explained to me about his business, and I've kind of briefly summarized over here, is they have this sales tool for solar power installers, and what they're looking to do is they're looking to, or Mike's business is reinventing the way lead generation happens for solar power installers. Usually, solar power installers, they just buy bulk leads. Half of them are not qualified. It's just, they sell it to their competitors, what have you. And Mike has a unique offering in terms of how they provide very validated leads, and how a system that they have, the sales tools that they provide, help close the sales better with the qualified leads that their customers may have and what have you. The goal for Mike is to identify the top 5 customer segments to go after, to narrow down the marketing message, the value proposition, to make their lead magnets more attractive, meaning Mike is doing some sort of a giveaway of a white paper of some sort, and he is interested in running Facebook ads essentially with these marketing messages. And so what we did was, in our last week's webinar discussion, we kind of got Mike on the call, and we discussed some of the early ideas of how you want to segment your ads, how to your customers from one phase to a different phase. And so as you can see in that gray box where it says customer journey on the screen, we will be focusing more on the pre-sale, which also translates to capturing new leads and then put into the during sale or the conversion of the lead, kind of a funnel, if I may. And so obviously, the business strategy over here is to find the ideal buyer, capture the lead, and then provide a free report to them. For additional resources, I always welcome you to go to sites.google.com/infusionsoft.com/campaign strategy/home. Now, this link has a lot of pre-made campaign strategies that you guys can use if you're new to Infusionsoft and looking to get like a strategy going really quick for your small business. So always welcome to check out the link provided. If somebody can share the link in the chat, that would be great also. If not, after I'm done with my presentation, I'd be happy to share that link with you guys. On to the next thing, and a lot of these slides that you see earlier on in my presentation before we get to the main topic will be repetitive in many ways, but idea behind repeating some of these slides, for example this one that says what defines success, is to hone down the very core basics of why landing pages even matter to your business. Why not just have a website, right? The idea behind getting a proper solid sales strategy is having your visitor, having your customer say little at a time and in a flow that makes sense to the customers, right? like the visitor that's coming to your website, your landing page, have your marketing campaign in general. You want to have them understand your business first, then you want to bring some sort of credibility to your business, build some appeal, build some exclusivity. At this point, almost to pay this much and need to do this much almost becomes irrelevant. Example that I always give to my customers is, Apple, right? Apple is one of the highest profiting companies in all, right? And they have honed that technique from day one, where they show you a product that people understand. It's simple, it's easy to use. Then they start believing in it. Then they build exclusivity where people just want it right now, but then they can only get it from Apple. You cannot buy Apple from a third-party vendor unless Apple approves of it. So it's very exclusive on how they sell their product. You can only get the things that you get only through Apple, right? At that point, a lot of people, you see huge lines outside. Price almost becomes irrelevant. And what you need to do, whether it's standing in line or 3 hours at the Genius Bar, right? It almost becomes irrelevant. And I feel that's the type of culture Infusionsoft also brings into the customers, kind of a business cycle in marketing and sales, where they make sure that their customers get as much, the small businesses get the same amount of success. So it is very important to have this kind of honed down mentality in your business in general, or any marketing that you're putting out there in general. And so that takes us to the next step, which is the pro tip of the week. This week's pro tip is, your visitors will only buy from you when they are ready to make a purchasing decision. So a lot of times people talk about high bounce rate, or people are not converting, or I put this web page together and nobody's coming to it, right? The basic understanding behind this that we have to understand is that they will only make a purchasing decision when they are ready to make a purchasing decision. A good example you see is the advertisements that you see on TV. You see the same product, for example, Taco Bell or Burger King. There's almost every other hour for whatever TV show you're watching or more, but you don't make a purchasing decision unless you are ready. But their idea is to keep marketing until people become ready, right? So warming up your customers by dropping in the same link on your social media, in your emails, repetitive drip email campaigns, or running retargeted ads or what have you. So only when the customer is ready, they will make the purchasing decision, and most likely, if you have convinced them well enough, then they will come to you to do that business with you, right? With your product or your offerings, what have you. So what I want to do is I kind of want to jump into buyer persona, of how you identify a buyer and how you want to hone down into a kind of a right customer that you want to sell to, right? And what this also does is allows us to write or craft a better marketing message to the right person. One of the examples that I always give to my customers is, like if you were to sell something to a New Yorker and if you were to sell something to a Texan, they both speak English. They both, understand what you're saying, but they both understand it differently. New Yorker would like something very fast-paced and something done yesterday, right? That's the way their lifestyle is. They're very fast-paced. They want results immediately or something like that. Whereas a Texan, a Southerner, they want to have a dialogue with you before they actually build trust with you, right? They want to understand exactly what your process is and everything. So with creating a buyer persona, what you're essentially doing is you're identifying exactly who your target customer is and then speaking the language that they understand back to them, right? So this is one example buyer persona that I just created out of thin air. And you can, at the end of this webinar, I'll also share a very unique worksheet with you guys that you guys can use to identify who your ideal customer is and what are their hot buttons or what are the triggers that attract them to your offerings, and how you can kind of go about running specific ad campaigns or messaging to your ideal customer, right? In fact, in next webinar, we might dive a little deeper in identifying and understanding who your ideal customer is with another lady that I had the pleasure of with and helping her create her landing page using the Infusionsoft landing page builder. So we might have, if she's available, we might get her on the call and do a live session with her. But hopefully Mike has joined in so far. Mike, are you online yet?
Let me go ahead and get him off mute 1 second here.
Awesome, perfect.
You are now, your mic is live. Go right ahead, sir.
Hey, thank you. I am here. Hello, Drew.
Hey, how are you?
Wonderful. Thanks for taking the time and looking at my solar plan.
Yeah, perfect. So I don't know what you missed, but I kind of gave a brief understanding of your business and what you're looking to do. And the goal is to identify the top 5 kind of customers and craft a message and all together, creating like a buyer persona altogether. So I meant the first persona, and some of the background information of this persona is, this person is the head of HR at XYZ company, just got married, looking to accelerate in sales career in solar power because she sees the opportunity and she wants to jump on it. The demographics says she's a female. The age range is 35 to 45. Dual household income of roughly 120K a year. Identifiers of who she is or what she represents or how she interacts with people is she has a calm demeanor, always watching sports, and very health conscious. So she is very active in terms of having an active lifestyle or what have you. Another persona that over here is a person who is the head of sales at a solar product company, just had a newborn and looking to close more sales each month, right? So that's his what he's looking to do. Demographics are he's a male, same age group, and dual household income with 70K a year roughly. And then identify he's an outdoor person, wine fanatic, so loves to drink wine, and logical thinker, meaning very yes and no kind of a person, not a creative thinker but a very logical thinker, right? So behind understanding who your customer is, and we'll go through a deeper process in just a few, is to really know what things matter to that person in their ongoing day-to-day life, right? When you talk to them in that they can relate to on a day-to-day basis in your marketing messages, and luckily with Facebook, with Google Ads, you can narrow down your target customer to that specific item to a very close kind of criteria. What you can do is you can craft a marketing message on your landing page, on your ad, that makes sense to that particular person, and it as if that message speaks to him directly or her directly. And that's the idea behind creating a buyer persona, is when you speak to them in their language that they understand, no matter what you're selling to them, their emotional triggers, their lizard brain mentality, that kicks in, and they are more attracted to what you have to offer in general, right? Everybody wants to make sales, everybody wants to make big bucks, but what's the purpose behind making those big bucks? And I find these, finding those identifiers in your persona definitely helps you really hone down the right message. And so what I've done is I've created a few examples, right, around your business, and these might not be relevant at all, but just to stab at it, and wrote out few marketing messages over here that would work as a headline for your landing page. It could very well work as a topic for your ad that you're running also, right? So the first one that says, can your marketing strategy get you 10 pre-qualified leads guaranteed a week, right? That somebody who is like this lady over here looking to accelerate in the sales career in solar power, right? So something like that. The next message is, last week Stacy used the sales tools for solar power installers to get on her to go on her dream vacation. So again, it's identifying that particular person, and she's looking, she just got married or something, right? And she loves to do outdoor activities, so chances are that she might love to do some kind of a dream vacation where she's enjoying her life because she had just got married or something, right? So identifying that and just saying, like, last week Stacy used the sales tool, and I forgot to highlight this, but the sales tools for solar power installers, that's the product, or like the headline for the product that Mike is selling to go on dream vacations, right? And so matching Stacy, or that person, your ideal person's end goal in mind with the product or service that you are offering, right? The next one is the insider secret to close solar installation sales before you pitch anything to your customer. Now, something like this definitely gets to the person, like this gentleman who is looking to close 10 more sales each month. Something like message like that definitely creates a hot button in their mind, right? And then the last one is inbound marketing tools for solar power installers. Now, the last one is very, very general, but it to the point. So it's very direct, rather than creating any kind of convincing. It's very direct message that it's an inbound marketing tool for solar power installers. Now, that inbound marketing tools could be switched out to different message, like you can call it a unique sales tool kind of thing that will help you for solar installers. Now, when you have, let's say you crafted out like 3 or 4 different messages, one of the biggest challenge then becomes is which one of these messages will actually work, and how do I even hone down what message I want to use for what. So before I jump into the next slide, I actually will go back a few slides and go back to one of the things that I try to hone down on all of my calls, in our calls, is this particular screen, right? So in here, what you see is clarity, credibility, appeal, and exclusivity. So by writing a message, you are already bringing a clarity kind of thing to your customer, right? Credibility is something that you can put on the page, whether it's the logos or success stories or what have you, to make them believe in your product. Or I think, Mike, I have seen your website and your landing page that you have created. So you video on there, which really works great for credibility. What we want to do is we want to craft our value proposition, our marketing message around appeal and exclusivity, right? Meaning, how appealing is it for somebody to actually click on it or be intrigued about it? And exclusivity, meaning how exclusive is this offer that nobody else on the internet is offering, something like this, right? So what you want to do is, we'll go back to this slide, and when you have 4 of your messages, what I ideally do is I would start ranking them in a scale, like so. So on a scale of 1 to 5, you want to see how appealing your message sounds, right? How exclusive your message sounds. How much credibility does your message have? and then what type of clarity are you bringing to your message. So it's the same exact four things. I may have changed the order over here, but you can see how once you start ranking your message, you will kind of really know that, okay, for this person, this type of message really hones down in the appeal, exclusivity, credibility, and clarity. And all this plays a big factor. And so what I want to do is I want to kind of jump in, and I'll stop my presentation over here and jump into an example worksheet that I will share with you guys. If you guys do want to work along with it, this is the URL for it. I'll copy the URL and share it in our chat window here.
Muted yourself.
You know, do that every time I share my screen, I end up muting myself. So there. So here's a link to the buyer persona that I'm about to share with you guys. And bear with me, I'll just open this up. And you guys are more than welcome to duplicate and start working on it to craft your own message for your. In fact, we managed to use the same exact spreadsheet that I have over here to get sales for our business. And let me just pass this over here on the side. Okay, perfect. So what I want to do is I kind of want to help you guys walk through this and then also change the conversation a little bit with Mike. And Mike, I know that you're going after, two different kind of businesses, and this is mainly because we've had exchanges in email, and you had mentioned that you are going after people who are doing residential and people who are doing business, right?
It can be the same, but they seem to be generally two different kind of contractors.
Perfect. Yeah, and that is very important. I think I just want to respond to Tanya really quick. Tanya, I did. Yep. And thank you, Rorik, for sharing that link again. That's the link right there. Once you click on it, it should open up as a spreadsheet. Okay, perfect. So the reason why, those two businesses are two different categories of business. And as you can see in the spreadsheet, I've called them low-hanging fruits and big ballers. Now, the reason why I gave them those names is the names that came to my head. But low-hanging fruits are people who you can do quick sales with, meaning, it could be a smaller amount of sales you're doing, and, there might be a different effort needed. And big ballers I'm understanding with your business would be the businesses, right? Like the big, we call office areas that would want to have a solar installer, what have you, and the sales cycle might be different, the cost structure may be completely different, right? So
yes.
You want to identify who are low fruits and create multiple personas within those low-hanging fruits, right? And then when you're going after the big ballers, the big businesses, you want to create very unique messaging and very unique identifiers for them, right? So let's walk through like all the 12, 11, because the first one is just the title. So let's walk through all the 11 ways you can create a buyer persona and how you can craft a message once you understand who your buyer persona is, right? So in terms of low-hanging fruits, Mike, I'm considering these as residentials, right? Like residential installments or what have you, because I'm guessing the cost involved is a lot lesser than a cost involved in a big business. And help me, feel free to union on it also as we go along, right?
Absolutely right. A home solar system costs $20,000 to $25,000. Business might put in a rooftop or parking lot shade system that could cost $100,000 to $400,000. So right on.
Exactly. Okay, and so what I did is in the background, so I kind of gave clues of like, what their job is, what their career path is, how their family is oriented, whether they do have a family or not, and you want to identify each of them with a bullet list, right? So I've kind of put the dashes in front to identify, so, this person could be head of human resource, worked at the same company for past 10 years, worked her way up from HR associate, and then married with 2 children, 8 and 10. So something that gives you the background of your ideal customer. And then the demographics that kind of goes into like, skews towards like a female. So where does your market skew towards? Are all the salespeople that you are attracting, are they more of a male or female? Like where does it skew towards, right? And sometimes it's hard to find these identifiers. One of the websites that I used in the past that I will also share with you guys, it's Quantcast.com. I think it's .com. I'm not sure. I think yes, it is Quantcast. And I don't know. I have not used this website, to be honest, in about at least 4 years or something. But it gave me some really good resources back in the days to really identify who my ideal customer was at no cost. It's to hone down into like that particular kind of, and I'll just try to browse into like entertainment or something, or services, and it just shows you. And I think I may have some sort of sign in if my computer remembers. Okay, it does. It don't. Yeah, see, my password does not work, so I apologize for that. But there's a way they have on this website, and I'll have to find it. If I find it, I'll find a way to share it back with you guys. I think it's staying on the home page. It's not going back to the main website. I'll just have to keep going back. Okay, right here. So they have a way to measure targeted customers and find out where they kind of hang out and all that. I think it's one of these, you get started and you get to filter, and you get to filter more and everything. But going back to this, you get to identify who they are, what their ideal income range is, where they live, right, suburban or non-suburban, where they personally live, right? And then you want to jump into the identifier. So this is where like what type of demeanor they have, what type of communication preferences do they have. So go back to that idea that I was explaining earlier, whether you are a New Yorker or a Texan, you both speak English, but what type of communication preference you have, whether you want to be explained everything to, or you want quick results, right? So something very similar, small thing like that could make a huge difference in terms of marketing automation. Do they prefer text message marketing, or do they prefer email marketing, and how often do they want these marketings to be sent to them or something, right? So you want to understand their identifiers. Then the thing is, what are their primary goals and what are their secondary goals? So in terms of career goals, right, what is their goal in the next, let's say, a year or next 5 years, right? What is their secondary goal, right? I have some examples over there. So keep employees happy and turnover low and support legal and finance teams, right? That could be the goal, right? The next one is challenges. What are the biggest challenges that they have, and what are the primary and secondary challenges, right, that they have in their business? Now, things I have shown in the first example over here might be completely irrelevant, but it is serving as an example of how you can use this spreadsheet for your own purpose and create your own buyer persona, and identifying who they are, right? And so the next thing is, what can we do to help our persona achieve their goals? So now we are tying back to, if this is their goal, what can we do? So we can highlight or list out all the different things that we can do or provide for them, right? Now, from there, we want to move on to the next one, which is real quotes. So, what are their goals, what are their challenges in their own words? So this is where, a lot of market research goes in to gather that right message that they have in their mind, but you want to let them speak out what is in their mind to you. And you can do that by, speaking to one of the sales that you are closing, and these are the common questions that you ask, right? And all you want to do is create 4 or 5 identifiers, like, it's very difficult getting company-wide adoption of new technology in the past. So things that they are really concerned about, things that are on top of their mind, you want to get those real quotes from their customers, because they on in, like, how you are identifying your customer, and you can use that as, a testimonial later on in your marketing funnel or what have you. The next item is, the common objections. That what are the reasons why they would not buy from you? Right? Because everybody has objection, whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's commitment. Everybody has some sort of objection before they, commit into business. One of a good example that I can give you about common objection and how really good company, Domino's, covered this really well back in the days when they first launched their business. Back then, I think Pizza Hut was the only sit-down pizza restaurant, and Domino's came out of left field offering pizza delivery or something. And the messaging was, and it's a 3-prong approach. I'll actually write it out in right here. I'll just open it over here. So what customer wants in specific time and address objective. So they use this marketing message, and now this particular formula, this particular template of messaging, creating marketing message is very common, and you'll hear, once you hear it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So this is what Domino's did, right? They said, hot fresh pizza delivered to your door in 30 minutes or it's free. That's what their messaging was. And what they did was they said what the customer wants, hot fresh pizza delivered to your door. They said in specific time, they said in 30 minutes. And then any objection that people may have, which is, or it's free, right? A lot of times when you're driving through the freeway and you take your exit, they say sell your house in 2 weeks or I'll buy it, right? So any objection that people may have, a lot of people are using this particular messaging as a marketing technique to kind of, so you do want to address any objection. You want to understand what are the reasons why they would not want to make a purchasing decision from you today. And then this, like from what we understood out of their identifiers, their backgrounds, their demographics, their goals, challenges, what you can do, and their quotes and their common objections, you can craft out a marketing message. Now, how can we provide a very specific message to them? You can even do an elevator pitch. So let's say you are at a social gathering, like a social mixer of some sort, and that's where you're running into like a trade show or something, right? You want to have this elevator pitch, sell your persona on your solution, but that matters to them in the language that they understand, right? So, and then the very last item that I have in here after the elevator pitch is, where do they get their daily vitamins? So, where do they get their information? Where do they read about their business? Where do they read about sales? Where do they read about marketing? Or what are their more common interests in life that they read about, right? Because what this does, and Mike, you might be able to resonate with this, is mainly because you were contemplating running Facebook ads, right? So once you identify where do they hang out on the web, you can probably guarantee that if you run your ads in those areas, you have a higher chance of capturing their attention, okay? So, ideally Facebook is the common grounds for everyone, but not everybody even knows to use Facebook the way we expect them use, right? Like it's such a common misconception that everybody has Facebook, so they all know how to use it, right? But a lot of people only go there. They don't even know what notifications are. If they get added, like if they're of older generation, they don't know what to do with that red marker that shows like you have one new message or one new friend request or something. Facebook always tries to make it as easy as possible for people to understand, but sometimes I do example of my parents, like they still don't understand, but they do understand videos, and as long as those videos are playing on Facebook, that's how I know that they want to buy something, right? So I completely know what it feels like to be in different spectrum. I think the term sometimes they use is called the diffusion of innovation. It's like a bell curve of like the early adopt all the way up to laggards, in your custom buying cycle, what have you. So, knowing where they hang out, where they get their vitamins, I call them, is very, very resourceful to understand how you want to run your ads with your customers. So what you want to do is, and I would personally always ask you to create two different, kind of, I call them the marketing channels. The low-hanging fruits, which are the quick sales, not much effort needed, or the value might be low, but it's closing a sale at the end of the day. And then dollars, where you get a big lump sum from working with bigger businesses or what have you to close the sale, but also create personas for those people also, and not create one, create multiple, because different people have different roles and different jobs, and they have different career goals. You could have a CEO for a company whose bottom line is to make sure that they increase sales month over month. Whereas if you have a technical person in the company, he wants to make sure that the security concerns are reduced, or the features of a product are reduced down to the minimum, right? If you have director of salesperson, his biggest objection or biggest concern challenges on a month-to-month basis is make sure that his entire sales team is driving those big sales for them and what he needs to do, right? So the messaging that you give to a CEO, the messaging that you give to a tech person, messaging that you, or like an installer in your business, Mike, or like a messaging that you give to a sales leader would be completely crafted different. And what this does is it helps you identify what type of ad you want to run and for which target market you want to go after, right? Once you identify which exact target market you want to go after in which sector, whether it's a low-hanging fruit or big baller, you can craft out 5 to 8 different marketing messages or ad copies and a matching landing page copy. The landing pages, you can create as many as you want. There is no limit to it inside the landing page builder. You can literally create landing page and just change the marketing language, the headline on it, and run it associated to the specific ad that you're running. And what that does is everything else on the page is the same. You're giving away your guide, the installer guide, or I think it's called the neighborhood dominance guide, right? So you can always be giving away that guide, but instead of having one landing page, you want to have 10 different landing pages for 10 different people that are coming to it. And what this does is when you run your retargeting, when you're targeting back to them, you can run another ad that has a very unique landing page copy that drives them to move from capture to convert, and then to closing a complete cycle that you have. The last tab that I have over here is obviously just a way for you to rank your lines. So you may want to put out different headlines and test them out just within your organization, or people, friends, family, have them kind of give you an opinion. If they were to hear this message for the first time, how appealing does it sound? How exclusive does it sound to business? And then you can kind of create a ranking for your messages. And what the ranking essentially does is it helps you identify which of these messages will work for this particular persona that I'm going after, right? The more narrow you go in your persona, the more it helps you craft the exact message every single time. And it's I don't want to say it's tested and proven method, but it's just a proven method in general. It just works. And feel free to check out Quantcast. I have not personally used it in a long time. I do know that they have, way to find like a very good insight on your customers. They help you, like, how much traffic, which website generates, what type of demographics. So it has this really cool kind of, identifier, third-party audience. So what else do they relate themselves to? Like different markets they're interested into, type of engagement you expect out of that type of customer, any political interest. So sometimes during political times you can have more sales just because somebody is doing something in your state or in your city, and it have a huge impact on somebody's lifestyle. And content segment. So I don't know much about the content segment or public profiles, but I think this is the one. I think I clicked on products, and then I clicked on measure, and so they have a sign up for free. So I'm definitely sure it's the measure part, and it has a way of filtering, everything that you're looking for. Now again, I do have log in with them. It's just been 3 or 4 years that I've been on this website called Quantcastcom. I'll link with you guys. Very helpful identifying your customers, ideal customers at no cost. And we're using this free service, the one that I'm on, and it's a sign up for free. They give you a code snippet that you can actually put it inside of your landing page builder. That little what do you call? Let me just get to the landing pages here. So I'll just go to So whenever a tracking code of sort, I'll just create a template on Scratch over here just to get to that. And over here, the code that they give you, you can just paste that code over here, and any traffic that's coming to your web page or your landing page, I'll just do wait. It will start tracking that traffic and tell you what type of traffic it is. So it's something more than Google Analytics, and it's more into the psychographics, the demographics of your audience also. So feel free to check it out. I just shared the link of Quantcast.com with you guys on the chat panel over here. Feel free to check it out. Not only can you use this tracking code on the landing pages, but if you have your existing website, you can also paste the tracking code on that website. So it helps you identify, what type of traffic in general that you are getting on your website. It's a really good way to hone down on the ideal customer without asking who the ideal customer is. So hopefully this in general kind of gave you a good example. And the last part, and Mike, what are your thoughts so far? I apologize, I didn't ask much questions and I kept on rambling on about things that I had to share. What are your thoughts on this so far?
I love it. It's very useful. I appreciate you rambling on about the things you have to share. I had actually considered doing different detailed landing pages, but I certainly will now. It makes total sense because I'm not selling to the exact same person. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, and all you are doing is copying a landing page. Whenever you are inside the landing page marketplace, if I go back a few steps, right there, went too far up. Right here, you create
and then renaming it. That's a
yeah. And when you go to your templates, all the templates that you have created become available in this your templates area. So you just click it and you can just click on use this template or something, right? And it allows you to just pick the template that you already have, and all you're doing is changing one like your title, like a headline message or something on the page. The idea is to have different messages that attract different audience, and that way whenever you are spending big bucks on marketing on Facebook and what have you, you are getting the most out of the sales, right? And I think you earlier on you mentioned that the sales cycle is very slow. It's about 8 to 9 months to close a sale, and it takes about, once you close the sale, it's about $20,000 also. Tanya, I think, just asked a question, can we do A/B split testing on the landing pages yet? The answer is no, not yet. However, if you want to run a split test, Tanya, right now on the landing pages, Google Web Optimizer, I think, Optimizer, Google Web Optimizer, which is a script that you can get from Google, then add it to your web page, and you should be able to use this. I'll share the link of Google Web Optimizer to you. I think they changed the name to something else, and that's why it's taking us to a it's called Experiments API now or something, but it allows you to create those experiments for your business also. So you sign into Google Analytics, navigate to your view, and I think they're putting everything under Google Analytics umbrella, but you can use this, and you should be able to run A/B testing or any kind of split testing directly through here. Another tool that I know that you can is Visual Web Optimizer, right here. And this might be a paid tool, but it is specifically for A/B testing and conversion optimization platform. So it pretty much, it's like another editor on top of a web page kind of thing. So you can drag and drop and move things around or what have you, but their prices, from what I understand, are pretty steep in terms of, yeah, see, they charge you a whole lot more than what you would pay entire suite of Infusionsoft, right? So, but they are very, well known for running A/B testing, split testing. So, with the landing page builder, we're not reinventing the wheel, but it kind of, this tool does best. So, they might have some very deep analytics and everything. So, hopefully that answers your question. Any other question anybody else have? I remind you, part of these webinars that we do on a weekly basis is to achieve one of these goals, right? So what are the best conversion practices in landing pages? So not only just knowing how to create a web page, but how to make that web page drive your visitor towards your offer. Second one is, if you have a landing page and if you want to get it reviewed, we'd be more than happy to get it reviewed live and get people engaged into a chat and have opinion on what everybody thinks of the landing page, and then I'll get expert reviews from Rorik and myself, and then I've help on any feature inside the landing page builder also. So it's an open-ended question. If anybody is interested in anything else besides me rambling on something that I feel that I'm an expert at, more than welcome to have a joint conversation and make it a more collaborative effort to make more out of the marketing efforts that you're putting out there.
Thanks as always there, Drew. Do we have any, we're kind of getting towards, of course, the last few minutes here, so any final questions to Drew, to myself? You can throw something in chat there. I'm going to put you back on mute there real fast, Michael, so we don't have any background noise there. So as always, we are here every Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel. like to mention, we're really looking to get out of this a fit for everybody in attendance. So live help, landing page reviews, conversion practices. Reach out to myself, reach out to Drew. You know, on Facebook, on any channels there, we have frequent contact there as well. Any kind of questions that you have, any input, anything you'd like to see done, that's of course where we pivot, adjust to make this the perfect fit for everybody in attendance. So until then, again, thank you everyone. Really, really appreciate everybody's taking the time out of their schedules today to join with us. Hope you all learned something that you didn't know, took away some piece of value for this. Drew, any closing words for our wonderful audience?
No, I was just waiting on any specific questions anybody has. If they need any reviews for the next week, I'd be more than happy to help them with design related, whether it's content related, whether it's a marketing message related, or the copy on the page. I'd be more than happy to help. You
got it. So again, if you have any, you know, we'll here for a few more minutes, so we'll kind of keep the lines open in case there's a quick something in the chat. Other than that, like I say, you know, if you think of something a little bit later, go ahead and just fire off an email to myself, Drew. We'll hop on to the Facebook groups and then just throw a little note that way. Of course, we're happy to go ahead and customize the content to be a best fit for everybody going forward. All right, well, I'll say at that point, then we'll go ahead and wrap it up for the day. And then, of course, Tanya's jumping into a meeting here, she says as well. So have a great meeting there, Tanya, and we'll go ahead and look to hear again from everybody next week. Until then, have a great remainder of your day and week, and keep those ideas for landing pages in your mind, and we'll go ahead and address them again then. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, guys.